All right, what is going on, Lions fans and One Pride Nation? Hope you all had a good week. This is episode 3 of Lyons Den Weekly, uh, where we look at stories through the week to see what is going on with our Lions this week. Last week I had 5 stories. This week I just had 3 that stood out to me. We're going to jump right into our first story. It is Lions predicted to trade for $97 million former All-Pro as replacements for Carlton Davis. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, it has been said out there that that Carlton Davis may be leaving the Lions because he said that he would like to test free agency. He said that he wants to get paid and that he wants to see what is out there. So if he really wants to go out and test free agency, then more than likely what's going to happen is that he will not be a Lion in 2025, which is a shame because he was our best corner. Now, there is talk of Darius Slay revive, coming back to the Lions and, trying to create some type of reunion, if you will. But truth be told, I just actually realized that Darius Slay is 35. I thought that he was 32. 32 to 35 is a big difference. 32 is a guy going at the end of his prime. 35 is a guy past his prime. Now, it's been said that the reason that the Eagles let him go is, for salary cap reasons, which make a lot of sense. His age, which makes a lot of sense. And the fact that they said that he didn't play as well in the regular season, even though they said he played well in the playoffs. But according to this article that I'm reading here, they are predicting that Carlton Davis will leave. And we'll get into it and you can see exactly what they're talking about. It says, it seems the Detroit Lions are going to need a cornerback this offseason. Carlton Davis was the team's top corner in 2024. Now Davis is set to hit free agency and has made it clear in a recent post that he's ready to test the open market and get paid. So with that said, it goes down to say that if Davis leaves, the Lions are going to need to add a corner group that includes a Mick Robinson, Tyrion Arnold, and Ennis Rakestraw. Now, down the stretch, Mick Robinson played very well the last few games of the season and going into the playoffs where up until he got hurt against that divisional game against the Commanders, as far as Tyrion Arnold, our young rookie, I still think that there's still a little bit of growing pains, but I will say this, the second half of the season, you did not see him getting all of those holding and pass interference calls that he got earlier in the season. And Ennis Rakestraw, who we took in 2024 in the second round, we can't really say a lot for him because he was hurt most of the season. So right here it says, an interesting idea who that new corner could be, saying who could the Lions get. It says in the recent article, Zai predicted the Lions would trade for Dallas Cowboys cornerback Trevon Diggs. Diggs had a great start to his NFL career as a rookie. He held opposing quarterbacks to just 54.8% completion percentage, which is true. Trevon Diggs did have a very, very good rookie season, and he had the makings of looking at of a corner who was going to be a lockdown corner. His second season saw him earn first team All-Pro honors. Diggs had some injury issues in a couple of seasons since then. In 2023, he played in just 2 games before an ACL tear suffered in practice brought his season to an end. This past season, he missed 6 of the Cowboys' last 7 games, but had gotten back on track before the injury issues. Let's see what else it says. Talks about what he did in 24. It says his yards per attempt allowed were less than Davis, who had 7.5 per attempt for the Lions last season. Diggs could be a long-term answer for the Lions as he is only 27 under contract for 4 more years. The Lions would also have options if this move doesn't work out, as dead cap as his deal becomes very manageable after the 2025 season. Diggs certainly wouldn't be cheap, but adding a proven corner who has a knack for making big plays could be worth his investment if the Cowboys are actually okay. So as always, you all know that this is the slow time of the year. The new NFL season, official, not season, but official year is about to kick up. And you're going to get a lot of articles like this. You're going to get a lot of people talking about woulda, coulda, shouldas. And that's what this is. So this is really not like a serious consideration, but it's more of a what if. What if the Lions do lose, Carlton Davis, what are they going to do next? All right, speaking of things that we seem to talk about a lot, I'm sorry guys. I was trying to get my next story up. There we go. Speaking of things that we do talk about a lot, next would be free agency. I ran across this article, and this article by SI.com, 10 offensive free agents that fit Lions. So let's go down and see. Detroit Lions offense was once again one of the league's best in 2024, but the team still stands to improve in some areas heading into the 2025 season. With new leadership and offensive coordinator John Morton, the Lions may have a bit of a new look. Morton was part of the coaching staff when they installed a new offense in Ben Johnson's first year. All right, let's see. All right, we see the first guy up here. It says here are 10 external free agents that are fits for the Lions offense. Okay, the first one is wide receiver Tyler Lockett. I'm going to come right off and say that I have no issue with that because the Lions do need a legit number 3, especially if Tim Patrick is not coming back. It says Lockett has done most of his damage at the NFL level as a slot receiver, and the Lions have one of the least best at this position. Amon-Ra St. Brown's kind of talking about where he would fit in at. Let's see this next guy. Offensive lineman Will Hernandez. Hernandez is coming off a season-ending knee injury. I'm noticing, man, that a lot of these guys that people are saying will be good fit for the Lions are people coming off injuries, but, I guess that's part of the game. It says, but had been having a solid campaign up to that point. He had a Pro Football Focus run blocking grade of 66.0 and has been traditionally solid in that aspect of the game. Let's see what it says down here. Heading into his age 30 season, Hernandez profiles as a veteran addition who could provide starter level depth for Detroit offensive line if Kevin Zeitler doesn't return, which makes sense. And it talks about what it says about Mahogany. Competition for the likes of Christian Mahogany for a starting spot. So they're saying that if nothing else, this could be a pretty good depth pick. Running back Javonte Williams. Williams could be an ideal third running back option for the Lions behind Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. He had a big rookie year with just under 1,000 yards, which is true. He did have a pretty good rookie year. It says there's a tie between Williams and the Lions coaching staff as new offensive coordinator John Morton was the team's passing game coordinator. Yes, he was. So he coached him there. Next is offensive line Daniel Burnskill. What does this say? It says Burnskill could fill a variety of needs for Detroit, situationally due to his wide array of experience. He could be an ideal fit as a veteran who could step in at any spot, comfortable, and provide reliable production. So this could also be a depth pick. Next, they have wide receiver Josh Reynolds. All right. Could the Lions reunite with old friend Josh Reynolds? So it was just said that the Broncos just recently, if I'm not mistaken, they just released him. He was a highly productive part of Detroit's offense for parts of 3 seasons before departing last offseason. So it talks about Tim Patrick, and they're saying he could be a guy to replace Tim Patrick. Next up on their list is quarterback. This is interesting right here. Quarterback Trey Lance. The Lions were reportedly interested in acquiring Lance when he was traded from the San Francisco 49ers to the Dallas Cowboys in 2023. Though the team had its franchise quarterback in Goff, there is some uncertainty at the backup spot with Hendon Hooker being replaced as the backup by Teddy Bridgewater in the postseason, which makes sense. Obviously, Hendon Hooker is not cutting it like we thought he was because they did bring Teddy Bridgewater straight from coaching high school football to come in and be the backup going into the playoffs. If the Lions want to bring in more competition for Hooker in 2025, a player who was believed to be amongst the top quarterback prospects in 2021 draft could be an ideal choice. And that would be a very interesting choice. If nothing else, you can get him, bring him in, and he can at least push Hooker, or you can see what you have in Hooker, and at least in Lance, if he can cut it, you would have a young backup. Offensive lineman Evan Brown. Since departing Detroit, Brown has started 33 games over the last 2 seasons for the Seahawks and Arizona Cardinals. He'd be a familiar addition to the offense and could accumulate quickly to the scheme. So this is bringing back a past Lion. The next guy is wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, or Ikhine, that may be how you pronounce his name. Forgive me if I said that wrong, was one of the names recently listed by Lions flagship radio as an ideal fit for the Lions, and he fits their mold for multiple reasons. He's a big physical wideout who was productive for the Titans team that struggled to get consistent quarterback play. Okay, so just another addition to the wide receiver room. Tight end Chris Manhertz. The Lions do need a number 2 corner. I've talked about this before. If not in free agency, they could get one in the draft. The Lions have a solid pair of tight ends in Sam Laporta and Brock Wright, which allows them to deploy some unique personnel groupings. However, they do have a need for a third tight end that can handle some of the fullback duties within offense. I like that. Manhurts played in all 17 games last season, and while he had only 3 catches, he served more in a role that would fit what the Lions are looking for in a third tight end. I like the fact that they mentioned him coming as a fullback. And then last on this list is offensive lineman Cornelius Lucas. What does it say about Lucas? The Lions dealt with injuries at the position in 2024 as Taylor Decker missed multiple games with injuries. Dan Skipper, who was the team's swing tackle, was set to hit free agency, and the team could have a need for an extra tackle. That is true, but I do hope that we re-sign. I do hope that we bring Skip back. So that was 10 free agents that the Lions could, 10 offensive free agents, if you will, that the Lions could sign. I don't have any issues with most of the names on that list. A lot of those names would be depth picks. And then let's get to our last story, which is the big one, which just came down just a couple of hours ago, something that I talked about in the last few weeks. The Lions did re-sign Derrick Barnes, and they have signed him to a 3-year extension. Let's jump in this story real quick. The Lions and linebacker Derrick Barnes have agreed to a 3-year, $25.5 million extension. A source told ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, with $16 million of the deal fully guaranteed at signing. Okay. Barnes was limited to just 3 games last season. I thought he played a few more games than that. I guess not. After suffering a knee injury in a Week 3 win over the Arizona Cardinals, it was the first time in Barnes' 4 seasons in the NFL that he failed to play at least 15 games. It says, with the move, the Lions commit to another one of the foundational players from the beginning of general manager Brad Holmes and head coach Dan Campbell's Detroit team in 2021. Now, this reminds me of something just 2 weeks ago that Brad Holmes said, what he said, that there are a lot of guys we could add to the list, but we really want to stick with the guys that we know can play, not guys that we think can play in the system. And Derrick Barnes is one of the Lions that I did want to see our boys bring back. I'm going to skip down a little bit. It says Detroit also on Friday agreed to re-sign veteran linebacker Anthony Pittman. A source told Fowler Pittman played for the Lions from 19 to 23 before joining the Washington Commanders in 24, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars. He returned to the Lions in December when he was signed off the Jaguars practice squad. Let's see if it says anything else. It's just a little bit more. It says Detroit also, I just read that. The Lions have also locked down their linebacker core with Barnes, Jack Campbell, and Alex Anzalone. New Lions defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard previously coached the linebackers for the past 2 seasons, was outside linebackers coach for 21 for Detroit, where they developed a strong relationship with Barnes. Listen, Derrick Barnes was absolutely a great signing, something that I thought the Lions needed. And like I said, when they gave a list of linebackers who they said that the Lions could, add and bring in, he was one of the names that I wanted to see. He was one of the guys that I wanted to see the Lions, bring back. I want to see the Lions bring back him, Dan Skipper. There are certain glue guys that you want to keep in the fold, and Derrick Barnes was one of those guys. I am very excited that Derrick Barnes is back. All right, Lions fans, what do you think about these stories of the day? The 10 offensive free agents, the possibility of trading for Trevon Diggs, and the big one, in my opinion, Derrick Barnes coming back. All right, if you haven't already, over on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep rocking with us over there. If you check out our videos, go ahead and give it a like and give it a follow. As you can see under my name, that is our Twitter/X page. If you haven't already, go over there and give us a follow. And right there on the screen is our TikTok. If you haven't already, go over there and give us a follow there as well. All right, that's all the Lion stories we have for this week. Until next time, peace.